That is discipline. Selfish.
No joke. We're legitimate.
Let's fucking do this. Then do it. Do it 100% because I'm trying to.
We recognize that we are limitless.
You gotta be a champion to become a champion, right? Winning is a habit because we create habits that lead to good execution and success.
Good evening and welcome to a special edition of the Coach's Show. No, this is not a toupee. It's just my new haircut. Before we get started, yesterday was Mother's Day. Hopefully you remembered to do something special for your mother. I know I did for both my mother, my mother-in-law, and my wife. I do want to share a quick message for those of you who may have lost your mother, for those of you who are mothers who have perhaps lost a child, or for those mothers who are struggling to become a mother, or maybe you have a strained relationship with your mother. We at the Coach's Show want you to know this. You were not forgotten yesterday. You're loved, and we thought of you, and we prayed for you too. So we hope everyone had a wonderful and exceptional Mother's Day. Quick shout out real quick to Justin Hodges of the New Orleans Hurricanes. He won the Hormesis 1v1 championship held at Prime Paintball in Leeds, Alabama this past Saturday. That young man, he walked away with $15,000 and a title of best dueler in the world. Congratulations to you, Justin, and to all the participants for showing up. Incredible matches, camaraderie, and sportsmanship. I can't wait till they release the videos that will be associated with that whole deal. It's going to be worth it. Trust me. So what makes tonight's episode 71 so special? Well, that's easy. Tonight, we're joined by none other than Coach Casey Harris of Paintball FIT, fresh off a back-to-back NXL professional division win. That's right, a three-peat at the highest level of the sport. And we're going to be diving into what it takes to build and sustain that kind of dominance. I think there's only 3 or 4 teams who have ever done that in the history of X-Ball. So, and matter of fact, if you know those teams' names, put them in the chat. We'd love to hear it. All right. We'll also break down the latest action from the semi-pro division, including rising talent, playoff drama. Yes, always the drama. And the teams to keep your eyes on. And, of course, we're not going to shy away from the surprises in the pro division. The good, the bad, and the downright shocking. You'll see what I did there in a minute. This episode is brought to you by Max Sportswear. If you're playing the NXL or a regional league, contact Charles today for contingency details. Trust us, it will be well worth your time to reach out. Remember, for all of your custom paintball goods and contingencies, get maxed. And BKI, the best knowledge in paintball. If you want to elevate your game, join BKI. New platform and content is on the way. Use code COACHSHOW to let them know you heard it here on the show. BKI, where you can quite literally learn from the best one-on-one. If you're a manufacturer, brand manager, store, or field owner and would like to support the show, we would like to support you. We have a new pricing structure for 2025 and are eager to discuss how we can partner with you. Please contact Ryan through our social media channels or by email. That address is ryan@thecoachesshow.live. Like, share, comment, send us some stars if you're watching on Facebook. So Ryan is finishing up the sign-up information this week for the Coach's Show Clinic at NXL Cincinnati. The clinic will be from 10 a.m. to 12. Oh, that's 10 a.m. to noon. We just weren't able to get a later time. The itinerary will be released by Thursday. We'll be discussing communication, clock management, and how to build a winning culture. You don't want to miss out on that. And matter of fact, we've got a great guy to talk about that on the show tonight. So, Ryan, what do you think?
Well, I want to answer this question. Casual Call says, why is Ryan glowing? Well, my wife and I have bought 5 acres, and I've been doing land work and moving, and so I've been in the sun a lot. So I got a little, red, little glow to me. I'm also in a new studio space that behind me will be all decked out soon. So yeah, I'm glowing because I've been in the sun a lot. So, and it's just my personality. I'm just glowing. So, really quick about the clinic.
Disposition, that's for sure.
Yeah, as much as I can, right? Especially
Right.
in today's environment. So the clinic. So I did try to get a later slot. Unfortunately, we were unable to do that simply because of some things that are happening around the pro field at that time. Later in the day. So 10 to noon is still the best I could do. It's still going to be a great clinic. If you've already bought a ticket, I apologize. If you can change it, fantastic. If not, we totally understand. But 10 a.m. to noon, we will have our clinic. I will have the sign up, as Mike said, done by Thursday, and I'll get it all released with some marketing stuff. So the agenda will also be listed on the job form, so you'll be able to kind of see the things that we're going to touch on and talk about. That way you can prepare some questions. We will try to leave about 20 minutes of space at the end to create a little synergy in the group. So that seems to be when we get a lot done. So
right.
So let's kind of jump right in. You want to bring Casey in and talk about all?
Let's talk about some things with Casey. Let's get his opinion on some things as well. Good evening, sir.
Hello, how are y'all?
Doing very well.
Awesome.
Man, I'm really kind of getting tired of having you on the show.
You beat me to it.
I gave you Colt last time though.
I know you did, and he was awesome. Colt stepped in and did a really fantastic job. So, but yeah, it's one of those, like, I feel like, every few weeks we're just having a Paintball FIT show.
That's right.
All right, 6 more weeks, we got another one coming.
Ooh, I like
it's
that
possible,
positivity.
right? And I love the fact that you guys, we're going to talk about how you kept that culture kind of alive. And, we had Colt on here. Again, it feels like 3 weeks ago. I know it was longer than that, but it feels like it was just a few episodes ago. And, he talks about kind of, hey, we're going to win every event. Like, our mentality is always, we're going to win every event. And like, the surprise isn't when we win, it's when we don't.
Right.
So, yeah. Yeah, so In the Pits podcast says this event layout was certainly a unique one. Yeah, that combined with the unforgiving conditions made it a rather unique flow for the game. Yeah, a little bit. The rain, honestly, the turf, like the ground on our field, on the pro field stayed pretty awesome. Like, I was really shocked. When walking out, of course, was a little bit treacherous, but the ground on the pro field was great. It stayed really good. Axel might disagree. Of course, and we'll talk about that later.
Yeah,
but
we will.
We'll talk about that later. Axel probably would say that the turf was really slippery, but the turf on our field.
The pits were really slippery. I fell twice.
Yeah, the pits got a little goofy.
Bad.
I was getting
we could have been in Texas, where you guys have had. Well, I know you're in Louisiana, but in Texas, much like Oklahoma, they've had 13 inches of rain in 4 weeks. So we could have been in Texas, where it would have been a full-on, disgusting mess. So I thought the venue stayed really good. Having the blacktop walkways was awesome. The VIP got a little crowded, of course, because it was raining, but and you had to stand about 10 feet into it because of the way the rain was coming.
It was coming sideways.
Yeah, it was sideways, but it was and honestly, the bad rain, I felt like you had like an hour at one point and then another hour at another point, but then otherwise the rain was pretty low.
Yeah, I mean, our X Factor match was pretty, raining pretty good, but other than that, like you said, there was good gaps, so it wasn't just crazy. So
yeah, it wasn't terrible, right?
Right.
Wasn't terrible. You guys though were soaked.
Yeah,
you were soaked. I saw your guys walking
all day long.
walking onto the field that, I don't know, first or second match, and you guys were soaked. Yeah, it was the X Factor match.
It was that
soaked
for sure. Yeah,
love it.
Busted it. So
yeah. Well, let's do this. Let's hop right into the positivity. Let's talk about the good, right?
Okay.
So, where do we want to start on the good? There's a couple of different things there. I know there was a team in our bracket and a team that we played, both that showed vast improvement from the first event. Yeah, you want to start off with perhaps mentioning Baltimore Arsenal. Any thoughts on? I mean, they went undefeated, won their bracket,
Yep.
right? And they weren't just undefeated; they seemed to be dominant in control in the prelims. and they did it with the pocket.
Yeah.
So
I thought Cody played incredibly well. Benny Carroll was out of his mind. A few points. And they just looked dialed. They looked dialed, like from the go, each match, very focused, very clean. You know what I mean? Like there weren't a lot, the mistakes that were made weren't they weren't silly errors, right? They, like, a guy gets shot out of his spot, it's because the other guy made a really good shot, right? It wasn't because somebody was overplaying or wrapping too big or any of those kind of things. I thought Arsenal played a very disciplined style, which on this layout, which again we'll talk about as we dig more into FIT style and kind of how they played this field, because their first match, you know, they were just on cruise control. But I thought Baltimore Arsenal, huge turnaround from the first event. We talked about it on the pre-show that we were pretty disappointed, you know, in kind of how they played at the last event. And unfortunately, nobody picked them, right? Because we all had picked either Revo or them going into this and kind of felt like they burned us too many times. Nobody picks them, right? Of course. And then they play really well and win their pool, right? Win their pool, make it into Sunday. It looked incredibly good. Looked like a team that could go deep into Sunday.
That's what we were comparing them, and not to blow any more sunshine your way, Casey, but we were like, okay, they're playing a FIT style of game here. High discipline, very little mistakes, hard to kill, right? And that's what we kept telling ourselves in the pit. We've got to be hard to kill. So they played a very, very well put together game.
Yeah. Mr. G, I will ask Casey that question when we jump into the FIT stuff. It's a great question.
It is a great question.
Yeah. So a couple other, I thought, really cool surprises. One, Sea Dogs Friday performance. You know, they looked on Friday like a pretty polished team. They look great. I think it is also important for a young team like that to get the really good teams early, right? Because we don't have a chance to kind of scout them and pick them apart. And then, of course, you know, they come out Sunday and those teams have done their homework and picked them apart a little bit. And then they struggle on Saturday. But on Friday, I really thought they played us really well in their second match. Come out and beat Uprising in their first match in a kind of a really pretty high, especially for Uprising, very high scoring game, right? So like, seemed like the Sea Dogs kind of set the tempo and sucked Seattle Uprising into their tempo and did it early. So I think they jumped up like 3-0. Yeah.
Well, so I think you have to throw a shout out to Shane Salmon. Because you want to talk about a guy who had a coming out party at this one, and that was his. You know, I got to hang out with the Rizzardo brothers this weekend at the Hormesis event. Those guys are dialed. You know, they are such good gunfighters. And when you've got that kind of combination with they just seem to be functioning and firing on all cylinders. And I think we really got to see what they're capable of at this event, because they did come out, played a great game against Uprising, and then they really took you deep on that second match on Friday.
They did, and they had opportunities to beat us. We really struggled in that first match. They had opportunities to beat. And again, taking nothing away from them, we just had challenges, right? And then kind of the last one, this is an easy one, was the Tontons, right? The Tontons go from being a pretty dismal looking team at the first event to coming out, making it through, becoming a wild card team, and then getting all the way to the finals, which again we'll touch on multiple times throughout this episode. They also, you know, they finished 16th at the first event, finished second at this event, go from 16th place up 9 positions to now being number 7 in the league. Moved up 9 positions.
Yeah,
incredible.
By far the biggest move, right?
Yeah. And they did it, interestingly enough. I felt like we saw a little bit more of what we've been waiting from them, right? We saw that aggression finally. We saw those quick bumps, those quick gunfighting wins and jumps. It was they pressed the snake when a lot of people were kind of like, it's the hot girlfriend that in the club in the dark that's not really there, right? So I've totally screwed that analogy up.
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying. you know, it's one of those things that, and so you see this, and you're starting to see that performances, and I guess it's kind of like we always knew it was coming. It's kind of like we knew that with Diesel. We always knew it was coming. We knew the opportunity was there, and now they're just hitting their stride a little sooner than Diesel did.
Yeah, Joey, we're going to talk about that in a second. Saying in the pits, Christian, we're going to talk about that literally in just a second. So let's talk about some things not so surprising.
Yeah.
Right. San Antonio X Factor turns it around, right? Like comes out, wins the Texas pool, right? Wins the Texas pool, finishing 10th at the first event. They finish 6th here, move up 4 places as well. But San Antonio, like we talked about it on the pre-show, it wouldn't have surprised any of us if San Antonio X Factor comes back to this event and wins it, right? That wouldn't shock anyone. No. They're a great team. So comes out, beats AC Diesel, beats Paintball FIT, beats Infamous, beats NRG. I thought X Factor, especially early on, looked really good with the exception of they're still trying to own this incredibly slow style.
Yeah.
They're still playing this very slow style. I mean, they play 5 points, 8 points, 3 points, and 7 points.
Yeah.
Very slow.
Yeah. You know, okay. So here's, and I'm just going to go off on a tangent here regarding that. I feel like that was a reaction to their performance in Tampa, right? I feel like mistake. I feel like they stepped back and said, "Hey, we need to connect more. We need to talk more. We need to communicate more. We need to understand the situation more." Right? And this layout gave them an opportunity to play, because we discussed it, right? We knew this layout could play several different ways, right? As long as you didn't get stung and you understood that, hey, when we call this is how you can get stung. And as long as you controlled specific elements, you could play a slower game. But I feel like that's kind of how, and I'm just, you know, pontificating here. I have no,
do you think not having Timmy Stetzel hurt them going into Sunday? Because it looked like Cody was carrying the majority of the load over there. They even had Meter kind of playing the one sometimes. Do you think not having Tim played a role in kind of what they sort of collapsed a little bit on Sunday, I'll call it?
That's part of the reason why I actually chose them as I think I chose them as a wild card. I can't remember, but
everyone chose them, so don't try to feel weird. Don't be uppity.
But no, I'm not being uppity. But the reason being is because I had heard that Stets wouldn't be there, and I thought, well, gosh, this layout, he would be a monster on. And so, yes, I do think it hurt him not being there. I really do. Yeah, I do too.
All right, so something else that's not so surprising was the whole pool, right? The Texas pool. Everybody kind of beat up on everybody.
Yeah.
It was really, you know, Infamous comes out beating only NRG, right? They really struggled at this event. You guys go 2-2, barely squeak in, and really only because of your 6-0 win over Infamous.
Right.
AC Diesel goes 3-1, losing only to X Factor and in a very slow game. To lose 1-2, right? So basically 3 5-minute points. I know there was one no point I think played at the end, but not just very, very slow. So, which I don't think anybody was surprised. Again, I think every coach on the pre-show picked three teams out of that pool, right? Which I was really nervous about because NRG.
Right.
I was nervous, right? The NRG and Infamous could both play really. If that Infamous game, totally. If that Infamous game is a 2-point game for you guys, you don't make it.
Right.
You don't make it and you're out, right? And so obviously you guys came out in that first match and just absolutely took care of business. Let's talk about the bad, right? Yeah. Let's talk about the bad. Like, and you know, the last one's kind of shocking, right? Leverage only scores 1 point for the entire tournament. I don't think necessarily that's shocking. It's just bad. It's just bad, right? We need Leverage to be better. We don't need a pool every tournament that's going to have a Leverage in it where that pool every time is going to have 3 teams come out. We don't need that. right? Because that means that another team that's in a little more difficult pool that probably deserves to go is not going to have an opportunity because they didn't get to play leverage, right? So like in order, and this is just my opinion, in order for us to legitimize that pro division, we need leverage to be good.
Right.
Yeah.
Or
Thoughts?
competitive.
Yeah.
No, we didn't even be competitive where it's not. Yeah.
To me, it's a fascinating turn of events, right? You have a team that legitimately won their spot into the pro division, right?
Mm-hmm.
Through blood, sweat, and tears. And then you have another team that bought their spot in. And the team that bought the spot is performing well above the other team that earned their spot. Now, that team that earned their spot, from what I understand, has not had their starters, 3 of their starters, I believe, the last
correct.
2 events. And that's got to hurt. That's got to hurt.
And then lose a player to Paintball FIT.
And they lose
who's also playing really, really well.
Yeah.
I mean, Jacob is playing incredibly well. So, they lose, obviously, a great anchor player. Haven't had Chris Caputo except for Saturday. They had another one out for knee injury and then another one out for something else. I forget what it was. But, basically down 4 starters from last year. So, so Joey Konopinski asks, did they look bad at practice? My feedback was that they did look bad at practice. Yes.
Okay.
My feedback was that they looked bad at practice. In fact, I'll tell you, and you guys can, if you're a coach and you're listening, if you invite a better team than you to come coach you, to come play you and scrimmage you on a layout, steal all the shots.
Mm-hmm.
If they shoot you from somewhere, you should shoot that shot.
Right.
You should shoot it, especially if they shoot you from this spot multiple times. You should shoot it back.
Yeah.
Don't try to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah,
if they're better than you,
I'm not
shoot
laughing for any other reason than I'm trying to. It's your delivery. You crack me up, Ryan. But you're absolutely right. I mean, if anytime I'm coaching a team and that team is just getting decimated, and we're paying attention to what the opponent has been doing to us all weekend, we're probably going to adopt some of the things that team is doing, right? Whether it's a specific shot, whether it's a particular maneuver, whether it's a particular checkoff, whatever it is. But I'm going to be having conversations with that other coach. I'm going to be interviewing those guys before, during, and after practice.
Where did you shoot me from?
Yeah.
That's all you got to say.
Every time.
Hey, where'd you shoot me from? How far over were you?
Bingo.
Did you stay long? Like, they'll tell you.
Well, I mean,
I shot you from here.
Because otherwise it's not a productive practice for the other side.
Totally. Right.
Exactly.
And the other thing is the team shooting that shot, if they're just beating up on you, they want you to shoot it back because they know when they get to the tournament, the other teams are going to shoot it back.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. So, you want to.
You don't want to
steal their stuff. Yeah. Do what?
So you don't want just completely easy practice. I mean, I said, we work with our lower lines, but we actually go down there like, hey, this is what we're doing. We need you to shoot X, Y. We want to make sure it's not easy for us to go right up the middle of the field, or if it is, and that's great, but I need you to try to shoot me or whatever it is, right? So,
yeah.
I'll do that regularly. If I think there's something we need to see, I'll go to the opponent and say, "Hey, we're going to do this and this. Can you stop it?"
Yeah.
Or hey, I need to see you guys getting out to the corner more. You guys haven't gone to the corner once. I need to see what that looks like, please.
Right.
Whatever that is, right? A couple of different things, and you shouldn't be afraid. And that's why Ryan and I talk about this. And Casey, I think you agree. You want to have practices with teams that you have a pretty good relationship with.
Right.
You understand the coach. You and the coach have a good rapport, so you can sit there and give each other that kind of feedback and pushback.
For sure.
Yeah, it's important. Okay. All right, let's talk. It's been mentioned in the chat a couple of times. Let's talk about NRG.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where do you 6 overtimes in a row?
6 overtimes.
6
4
overtime
in Tampa,
losses.
2 on Friday at AC.
6 overtime losses in a row.
Yeah, in a row.
And then they come in the next match and still lose by 1. was like, all right, at least it wasn't overtime. They broke that streak. And then they play Paintball FIT and lose by 2, breaking their 1-point loss streak.
Right.
Somebody mentioned, like, that's got to be a record. It is as far back as I can see. It's a record.
Mm-hmm.
I think Dynasty in one event had 3 overtimes, but they didn't lose them all.
Right.
But yeah, 6 overtime losses has to be a record. Again, if it's somebody has access to deeper records than we do, please find it. I'd love to see how much of a record it is, because it might be 3 matches.
That's right. The X-Ball podcast out of Iran probably has that detail. I bet you he knows it.
Yeah, if he's watching, please look it up.
Look it up.
Look it up.
So
yeah. So, and honestly, like, it's just painful. It's got to be doing something. And I was talking about this with SK and Joey. And I don't remember, Casey, if you were up there or not. We were talking about the psyche. Like, what does that do to your psyche, right? To lose. Well, you were actually you guys were, I think, playing or getting ready to play as we were talking about it. But it's got to do something to your psyche, right? As a player, to lose 4 overtime matches in an event, and then come out of the next one, lose that first match in overtime, and then go into the next. It's got to feel like this weird deja vu. You know what I mean? Like what's the movie with Bill Murray, right? Where he's
Groundhog Day,
right? It's like this. You're living this miserable Groundhog Day thing over and over and over. And then you play a match and you don't go to overtime, but still lose by 1.
Yeah.
Still lose by 1, right? It's got to be just absolutely grueling.
Yeah. I think they're right there, though.
We had 3 overtimes our first one last year in Vegas. And we lost.
I remember that.
No. We lost all three of them, too, actually.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. It's fascinating. It's a fascinating statistic.
ML Kings, and then every other one, all the last 3 were into overtime.
Yeah, because I think you guys finished 12th.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was, we
Right. You were right there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's talk about what's shocking. Chicago Aftershock misses another cut. Right. The next day, I think it was Sunday, maybe it was Monday, Todd puts out on the Aftershock page, like, hey, we know we're going to be better. You know, this is not who we are. I called him and I was like, hey, I think it took a lot of guts to post that and says a lot about your character. Unfortunately, though, right now, it is who they are. It is who they are. They look messy. It looks like there's a lot of chaos in the team.
Yeah.
You know, it's one thing if there's chaos on the field that you're creating in tempo for reason. It's another when it just seems like there's a disconnect, right? It seems like maybe there's some disconnect between the players. And I'm not talking about while they're on the field. I'm talking about away from the field. There may be a problem from maybe a problem in the pit and behind the scenes going on that we're kind of unaware of. But yeah, I can't imagine, you know, an 11th place and a 14th place with the amount of money that Todd spends. You know, it's not player salary. I've seen some people throwing out, like, you know, they are a well-funded team, but they don't pay their guys a bunch of money. They're not they're not a team that's like Impact who's paying their players a ton of cash. That's not how they're well-funded. They're well-funded and they travel well. Their hotels are nice. They get as much paint as they want to shoot. They get great equipment. They're very well taken care of by the sponsors and by Todd and Tammy. They do, you know, they take very good care of the team. They stay in really nice places. They, you know, they eat good dinners, those kind of things. It should be a good culture. It should be a good culture. So I don't know, Mike, what's your thoughts?
So I think you're onto something. I was near their pits a couple of times, and I was watching Ryan and Pat's dynamic, right? And I'm sorry, that's on my other thing. So I was watching their pits a lot of bit, and I think you're right. I think there's some kind of disconnect between the players, because I think you and I both picked Aftershock to be in Make Sunday, and I remember thinking, yeah, man, you know, LJ Parrish, Corey Hall, A-Rod, this layout, based off the way a lot of teams are playing, and I thought this layout plays to their strengths. This is going to be a very good layout for Aftershock. And, you know, both Todds are in there putting in the work with these guys. Like you said, they are well-funded. They've got the right thing. But I think you might have hit on something. Maybe there's something happening with the culture, right? Maybe there's a disconnect somewhere between management and players. I don't know. I don't want to speculate. I just did. But I think, you know, there's something going on there because you got a lot of talent there. And this is obviously not what this team was built for.
Yeah. Casey, you got any thoughts?
I mean, I think someone just put it. I mean, I felt like there was a lot more individual play from, like, looking outside in. I mean, it wasn't the team ball that everybody expects them to play, you know.
I kind of said that after the first event too. Like, they just don't look very clean, right? Like, it looks like it's chaos for the sake of chaos instead of chaos for the sake of creating tempo, like creating chaos in the middle of the field to open edges, or, you know, chaos down an edge to open another edge. It's just like, it just seems like there's a bit of free for all. I think you're right on the money. It's just a lot of, and Mr. G in the comments says Shock seems to play individual ball and not team ball, for sure. And we're all kind of saying that just in a little bit different way, that it seems like there's
the chemistry's not
there. Yeah. Right. And to me, when players get selfish, that's usually a byproduct of something that's happening off the field. Right. Like, I'm mad at this, so I'm going to do this. Right. I don't agree with the coach's game plan or whatever, and I'm not getting to play, whatever the case may be. It's usually a byproduct of something that's happening off the field that they're then carrying onto the field, and then it manifests and it grows, right? It just gets into this, festers into this really gnarly, nasty thing that can be incredibly challenging to get through. If anybody can do it, Todd and Todd can. Right, like
sure.
You know, Todd Adamson, I'm sure is already considering sharpening his axe. Right. Yeah. So I did ask him, "Hey, should we expect to see any changes?" And he said, "I'm not willing to say yet." I was like, "All right, good enough." Right, because this was like Tuesday after the event when we talked.
Yeah.
So I get it. Right. He needs time to really assess what he thinks is the right thing to do. But I know he believes in those guys. He believes in them. So.
100%. Something I hinted on and got my notes mixed up on. To me, one of the most surprising things was Heat missing Sunday for the first time in how long? Can someone tell us in the chat how long it's been since Heat has missed a Sunday? That shocked me. And of course, they were in our bracket, right? But it did seem to me like there was and I'm going to go out on a limb here. And again, I hope I'm not offending anyone, but it did seem like certain players were playing out of position. I think you and I chatted about this, Ryan. You brought it up too, because it just seems like it seemed odd the way the lineups went from Friday to Saturday.
Yeah. Again, we did talk about it offline. I don't want to share too much of that, but yeah, it seemed like there was maybe, and we weren't at their practice, right? So I don't know if maybe some of those guys played in those roles and did a really good job. You know, it just seemed like a guy like Cody LaPapa playing in the back center, you know, that's a weird role for him. Right. I over the years of watching Cody, have never seen him play anything but a one, and be kind of a go-getter. But again, we weren't at their practice. We don't know what Coach Ryan is seeing, and but it did seem like guys were kind of playing out of position. Yeah, it seemed like, and I would also say like Jackson and Ronnie looked really good on Friday, and then I didn't see him much on Saturday. Right. So kind of because that's when I noticed it was Cody and Mishka, and I thought that was kind of a weird change. You know, I thought it was a little bit of a weird shift. Yeah. I thought Jackson played well, you know, his first kind of time, you know, with the first event, we didn't get to see him much. I thought Jackson played well. We'd seen Soap play quite a bit. I thought Soap played well again at this event.
Well again.
Yeah.
Cody, again, wasn't really a factor, I think, because he was playing out of position. But I still thought Heat looked pretty good. You know, they looked pretty good. they obviously lose a really tight game to Arsenal, and then lose another really close game to you guys.
That's
right. Other than that, they, kind of pound NYX and then beat Chicago Aftershock. So they looked pretty good. They just they had some kind of weird moments, but I thought again on Friday, that the combination of Jackson and Ronnie looked really good. And then I didn't really understand the change, but I'm sure Coach Ryan, again, maybe he saw something and decided to make that shift. But
100%.
Thought it was weird.
As a coach who always gets, kind of pinged for my my choices as well, I understand. Chances are Ryan and Pat probably saw something right at practice and had that shift. Maybe perhaps it was all intentional to throw people off on the, hey, we're not going to show too much. Here's a steady hand on Friday, but here's our big surprise on Saturday to get us over the hump. I think they looked really competitive, but I think the term you've used before is not as clean as they did before, right? Not as crisp. Yeah. So,
and the layout was weird. It was a weird one, in my opinion. It was weird. You had a Dorito side where you had, 3 threats in one gap, 4 threats, five threats, and it just had this constant weird check off until you shot guys out of the middle of the field. That Dorito side was really, you could be really aggressive. You just had to be really cautious, right? You had to be really careful. Guys ended up shifting routes around a lot. I noticed going up, Chavi did it several times, going up to the tower and across, and you had to get a little more crafty. You couldn't just wing it on the outside. You constantly had to be worried about where the guy was in the middle of the field, because the guy could get lost so easily.
Yep.
He could transition from that can into any one of those bricks and catch you, and again, that's where there were 5 checkoffs, right? Because you had the back center, your guy heads up, the guy in the can, the guy in the brick, the guy in the brick on the other side. Like there was just, it got to be a very daunting task for the Dorito guys. So kind of a challenging, interesting field, but also really challenging. I loved the fact that on Friday, as Mike tried to say, the snake was the hot girl in the dark club. Everybody kind of stayed away from it, right? Yeah. Every now and again, kind of people would start going to it. And I'll tell you who made the change and who in my opinion, forced everyone to say, okay, there's something here. And that was the Tontons.
Yeah. Yeah.
They began to send Hugo every single point after point after point after point after point. I watched him get shot 2 times off the break in one match. They still sent him.
Yeah.
Point after point after point after point after point. And so I think everybody took notice and was like, okay, we might be able to take a little more risk. Might be able to take a little more risk over there. And then you started seeing a few more risks being taken over there, right? So Saturday, the snake became something that on Friday was nothing.
Right.
Was almost, it was rarely even played until somebody was closing, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
It was really interesting to see that. And it's also, I think, what makes our game really awesome is watching a layout throughout the tournament change.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Completely change, right? Anybody got any thoughts? You guys have thoughts on why the snake became such a thing?
I mean, I don't know. We, like at practice, stats wise, it was one of those things of you could get killed in the money quick shot or the can quick shot.
Yep.
And you had to go past it. So sometimes it was better to just go to snake. Now, we didn't risk it on Friday, right? So we actually utilized it a lot more on Saturday and Sunday, obviously.
Everybody, right?
But it's just one of them things of like, I'm like, well, if we're gonna get shot, then I'd rather take the real estate and be able to, So.
I'm so glad you said that, Casey. Sorry, Mike. I literally said to our coaching staff, if it's the same percentage or same probability to make it to the can as it is to the snake, why are we stopping at the can?
Right.
If the probability is the same, like if the guy in the can is going to shoot cross and we're really the can going up is going to shoot cross into the Dorito side and all we're doing is running against the back center's gun, why aren't we going more often?
Right.
Why aren't we going more often?
Yeah. I just looked at it strictly from a statistical perspective, right? Give him the old rope-a-dope. Like, no, we don't like the snake. We don't like the snake. We don't like that. We like the snake. Right. And then it's like, no, we don't like the snake anymore. The snake has not treated us well. We hate the snake. We're in the snake, right? So it's like
Right.
that's kind of how it was. It was like, hey, I want to mix it in there. That was the intent heading into the event. We were like, look,
Yeah.
we're gonna survive here in this snake side can. We're gonna put high survivability gunfighters here, right? And then when we create that opportunity, we're gonna take it, especially if we can have it to ourselves. But you know, and being
Well,
first, one of the best ways
got that-
to counter that snake, right? Is if they made it on the snake, similar to Tampa, if they made it, well, that's one less gun keeping you out of there, unless they move a guy almost immediately.
Right.
And so the best way to counter him would be to autofill the snake. That way he's like, and okay, we're in the snake, wait, and then your teammates are now yelling snake. Okay, you don't know what's going on the other side of that big ass wedge. So it kind of paused things, right? So I didn't, there was a lot of times I didn't understand how players would get in there and then immediately go to the first or second, knuckle and then look inside. I know what they were looking for, right? But at the same time, I felt like, hey, if we're going to be in her first and if we could maybe get that second body into the head of the snake, right? Now we have the snake to ourselves, right?
Yep.
Because that one can keep anybody out, and then you can go do damage up the center. But it didn't always work out that way. Woulda, coulda, shoulda, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what are you looking for? You're getting clever there with your.
I'm fast forward. I'm trying to find the part of the game we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. So let's kind of talk about your journey really quickly, sort of through the preliminary rounds, through early Sunday, and then we'll jump into the final match. Just so everybody has a heads up, we're not going to watch the whole match tonight because we've talked about all these other things. We're just going to watch the last point of the match.
Right.
Then we're going to watch the overtime point, and I may fast forward through some parts because it's really, really slow.
Mm-hmm.
There's tactically a lot of things happening in that overtime point that I want us to talk about. And then we're going to talk about the one-on-one, right? We had a very unique finals, as everybody knows. But I want to talk about why we chose Scott Stewart. I want to talk about, because you literally have a stable of Murderers Row one-on-one players in your roster.
Mm-hmm.
And then I want to also talk about the Tonton's choice, right? And maybe kind of some emotional keys that maybe could have been different there, right? Obviously, hindsight's 2020, and that's what we do on the show is we talk about, well, maybe they should have done it this way, right? So let's start with kind of your first match. I watched and scouted your first match against Infamous. Man, you want to talk about like traditional paintball fit paintball? That was it. You guys shot a guy or two off the break. I literally said to SK was sitting next to me and we were scouting and the other damage scout Mike, and I literally said, this is going to be like whittling wood. And they were like, what do you mean? And I said, it's going to be slow and it's going to look like this. We're going to shoot a guy. We're going to shoot another guy. We're going to shoot another guy. We're going to shoot another guy. There were multiple points I watched that guys didn't even leave their primary spots.
Yeah.
Didn't leave their primary. Shot guys off the break, shot guys out of their spots, bent over, pick up pods, and walked off.
Mm-hmm.
It was so your first match, cruise control, classic paintball fit style paintball. Yes?
Right. Yeah, oh yeah, 100%.
Okay. Now we go into the next match. A little bit different, right? So we're entering our Texas version or our Texas area.
Right.
So now it's you versus X Factor, which is always a good match, right?
Oh, yeah.
Anytime you guys play each other, it's always a really good match, right?
Mm-hmm.
Until the next time you play them. We'll talk about that in a second. So in the preliminary rounds, what's the thought going into this match? You guys just went on kind of cruise control with Infamous, really didn't get to see much, right? That was the only comment kind of SK and I made to each other was like, the only bad thing here is they're not really getting tested at all. They're not really getting to see anything. So what is the thought going into the X Factor match?
I mean, we felt pretty good going in. I watched their practice on Thursday. They didn't have meter practice on Thursday. But I saw kind of what their ideology and what they planned on kind of executing. I felt like we just didn't close certain points out in that game for us to be on the other side of the win. We had some sloppy points, and team like X Factor, and you don't have room for error, you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, that was, I mean, I felt like we beat ourselves more than anything. It's like, hey, we knew. I mean, even the point, because the point before Ryan had in the overtime point that we watched, he sent Billy to snake off break, and I was like, hey, first point. I was like, I think Ryan's going to test our gun and go to snake off break, which we called it. Of course, we had the gun there. They called it rub or whatever, call 'em, and I'm just like, dude, this point just started. Like, what are we talking about? But either way, I was just like, we called it. Like, I knew I had a plan, but anyways, so, but no, I mean, I felt like we lost that ourselves as far as didn't close properly. So.
Your volume's kind of dipping off a little bit.
I said I felt like we didn't close properly that night, you know.
Yeah. Key point that you made there that I think's important to highlight is you talked about while you were watching them, you kind of knew and understood their methodology. And for you coaches who are watching, what he's talking about is he's watching the team to find out what do they want to do? What do they want to accomplish, right? Based on their setup, where guys are on the box, what do they want to accomplish? So when you're scouting, I know a lot of people, just write down kind of where guys are going off the break and maybe where their guns are. The next part of that process is understanding, based on where the guns are, what are they wanting to do? If they shoot a guy, what are they wanting to do next? If they don't shoot a guy, what are they wanting to do next?
Absolutely. That's I couldn't have explained it better. And Casey, that's it. That's an excellent point, because it did seem like you understood it, right? But there might have been some execution issues there on the close.
Yeah, I mean, when we rewatched our film, that's exactly, we're like, look, we knew what they were doing. I mean, we knew to a T what they were going to do. So,
yeah.
But it was just bad execution, really. So,
and that happens a lot, right?
Yeah.
It's like you know exactly what a team wants to do, and you can set up a great game plan. And we'll talk about this again when we get to the AC thing in a little bit, because I understood what they wanted to do. Obviously, you guys understood what they wanted to do. Right. You made them really uncomfortable because you were able to pick on a guy and make them make some changes, which I thought was really intelligent. So let's talk about the next one. The next one, you guys go into your NRG match, and we already kind of talked about this. You break their streak of a 1 point loss, turns into a 2 point win for you guys. But honestly, a good match.
Yeah.
Good back and forth match. Yeah. This, like, NRG kind of made you guys uncomfortable, it looked like, in a few points, right? Which I was like, okay, here we go. Like, NRG has an opportunity here maybe to get a win.
Yeah.
And then, they did kind of NRG things and put themselves into a position where they unfortunately didn't win the match. But I thought it was a really good match. So you come out of the X Factor loss going into an NRG feeling obviously confident, right? And then you get into kind of a fist fight.
Yeah.
So again, like, what's the understanding there? What's happening in the pit? What are and again, I should have brought this up too. Like, we have Coach Casey on. Coach Casey is really blessed that he has a Colt who is now helping him. Mm-hmm. And he's also got a Johnny Lukau, who's an amazing coach in his own right.
I mean,
Casey has a lot of support.
It's literally the trio. I mean, we have tons of conversations, right? And, I mean, normally it's one of those like, hey, what do you think about this? Like, what's going on here? I mean, we obviously felt really good with our game plan, and it wasn't nothing. I mean, some of it was people going through the motions. I mean, we had to, like, look, like, y'all know what y'all are doing. Like, why are we not making the move to get to here or this and that? There was I felt like we had a break in communication on the field some. Trenton and Chavi actually really didn't play really good until Sunday. I mean, he played lights out on Sunday, but I mean, it was just like, dude, what's going on? What's in your head? So, but he clocked in when it mattered. But I felt like there was just, again, some minor mistakes. But in this league, there's not a lot of room for mistakes, right? So,
right. You said two things there that I think are really important for budding coaches out there, right?
mm-hmm.
So you're heading into this match. You've been able to scout them twice now. You've seen tape on them, trying to understand some things. But it's the end of the day. Energy's 0-2. So you're asking yourselves, what adjustments are they going to make, and what are we going to see in their match? What does that adjustment look like? But then you said what I was really looking for. You're like, we were looking at our game, right? We want to understand what we were doing wrong. We knew we were playing the field right. So it's not so much about what your opponent's going to do. I mean, that's a portion of it. That's certainly important. But understanding and adapting your game and getting the performance out of your players is really the key to that third and fourth match on Saturday, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, we knew we wanted anybody to adapt. We wanted them to adapt to our play style, not the other way around. So.
Right. Riley, get out of here. Come on. It's his microphone.
He can read that. Yeah, he can see it. So Riley, you saw him kind of get closer as you said that. So yeah, I think coach is talking on an iPad. So yeah, it's a little bit. I mean, I guess I'm going to have to invest in another mic since he's probably going to be with us a lot more in the future. Yeah.
I'll just get him on the next one. No.
Just so you know, Ryan has sent several other coaches microphones after their appearances on our show.
Not several, but one. For sure.
All
However, I hope people stick around to the end of the show because I have something to talk with Casey about that I think is really exciting stuff. And it's a big honor to get to do what I'm going to ask him to do later. So we'll stick around. It's going to be cool. All right. So we come out of the energy match, again, having a pretty good fist fight. Yep. And then we go into the AC Diesel, right? Mm-hmm. Walk me through this, right? So you guys, again, you've had 3 matches to stat and track, and I know you guys stat and track everything just like all the other teams. In fact, had multiple guys statting and tracking up there with me. I felt really lonely up there having just the one of me and like 3 of your dudes up there. So you guys go in to play this AC Diesel match. Kind of talk me through first, like what was our initial game plan, and then where did it fall apart?
I mean, we knew that they didn't do it against us. But,
yeah, we can't hear you at all.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't?
There you go. Now we can.
Real good.
Yeah.
We knew that they liked sending Silos. They actually changed it against us, where they sent Mouse out, and then Silos was the 2. Where scouting them, it was the opposite the whole entire tournament. Silos would go out to the turret or the Dorito, and then Mouse would scoop underneath. So they switched that against us, where I guess pretty much was trying to have him Mouse battle Chavi, and then not go wild on Trenton's gun. So I mean, scouting wise, they actually changed everything up against us. And then I mean, everything else. I mean, heck, we were both shooting 2 people off break. I think those 2 points, they shot 2 and we shot 2. They executed better on the 3-on-3s.
So Chris says maybe you're holding your thumb over the mic if you're holding it with your hand.
Well, I just now did it.
Hey!
Oh, there we go. Is that better?
For a moment it was really good.
Is it good now?
It's better.
Yeah. Sorry.
I'm trying. So.
That's okay.
It's all good, brother.
All right.
Yeah, I saw that change in that match with AC. I saw that switch up. I thought that was really smart, right? Put your best player kind of on their sort of most dynamic player and kind of see how it lies, which also, I mean, Silos is a great gunfighter too. But I thought, Mark and Kyle made a really good change there. I thought that was really smart.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, like I said, that was something that we didn't have to scout before because they weren't doing that on anybody else but us, or they didn't do it
anybody else but us. So.
Riley does say, hey, sorry for being a bit brash. I'm in the process of quitting nicotine, and I might be a bit of an asshole right now. Riley, no problem, pal. No sweat, dude. Yeah, so, I mean, to be honest, like, AC really controlled you guys in that match. They were in the driver's seat the whole time, looked in control, looked very good. I honestly thought, I knew you guys were in good shape with the big win you had over Infamous. Yeah, I knew you guys were still going to be fine coming out of that match. As long as nothing in the afternoon got too weird, I felt pretty confident you guys were going to be fine. So
we gave them a little help with the beat.
They definitely gave us help.
You did, yes. Obviously, the paintball gods had to be in play a little bit, but it looked like you were still going to be fine, right? And I think everybody hopefully now is understanding the difference between a preliminary paintball fit and a Sunday paintball fit, because it's very different. It's very different. You guys come into Sunday and basically get to replay the Texas bracket again.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to replay the Texas bracket again. So, and for those of you wondering, because I saw somebody posted something on the NXL Instagram, like, why would Major League Paintball have these guys play each other? Well, because they all finished in the right number to go into the bracket that way, because it goes 1, 2, you know what I mean? Like, the bracket's the bracket. So where you finish is where you finish. And unfortunately, they all finished in the right numbers to have to play each other again.
Right.
And when I say unfortunately, I mean unfortunately for AC Diesel and X Factor.
Right.
For you guys, it was great. So you go into Sunday morning, right? And you're playing AC Diesel again, a team you've literally just lost to. Here's another thing I'll say. In our league, it is very difficult to beat the same team twice in one tournament. It is very difficult to beat the same team twice in one tournament. Right? However, you usually don't see what happened in the way that it happened. So you guys are going into that AC Diesel match. Talk to us about what was the methodology. Like, what is your vision for how that match was going to break down from point one on? Like, we're going to pick on this guy, then we're going to do this. Like, walk us through that.
Yeah, I mean, we probably had a 3-hour meeting. I don't think I went to bed till 1 o'clock Sunday morning. I mean, we had a long meeting. We broke down Diesel and X Factor, obviously, because we knew the road, going through. So we with the unpredictable on Silos and Mouse, we decided to kind of bully Jesse and make them have to come out that way. And so, I mean, we because Trenton was not getting a lot of pressure back, but we knew we couldn't just do it every point, because Mouse is a smart enough player. Like, oh, if you're not going to shoot at me, then we're going to, So
so you guys shot the cross from the Dorito side.
Correct. Yep. And so we kind of took Jesse out of play and made them have to come out of that, which was a point that Clint was trying to red or stay back in the back, and then he ended up having to go over and he gets shot. So we just kind of bullied on that side and isolated the Dorito side. So
Very smart.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, they isolated the Dorito side to a mercy rule win 6-0. So that was some incredible shoot.
I mean, Clint, we weren't, and then we also weren't allowing Clint to just freely play. I mean, he was getting super frustrated. You could tell. We wasn't letting Clint do just Clint things. So
right.
Yeah.
Clint will sting you if you let him off a leash.
That's what I was going to say. And he did it a lot at the tournament. That man bunkers a lot of people.
Yeah.
Flick Freaks, great question. He says, is AC Fit the top rivalry in the pro division right now? I think the rivalries help make the games more entertaining. Of course they do, right? We need heroes and villains.
Yeah.
We need them, right? Matty Marshall talks about it all the time. We need heroes and villains, right? Right now, Fit's the hero. AC Diesel, unfortunately, is the villain. Right. Yeah. And they've kind of accepted that role. I mean, and they're feeding on it, which is awesome for them too. Right. So I totally agree. It is fantastic for paintball. I'll tell you, I will be at every Paintball FIT AC Diesel match until it's no longer fun. I'll be at all of them.
Oh, yeah.
They have all been very entertaining. Very entertaining. So the 6-0 wasn't really all that entertaining. As a fan of paintball, it was entertaining because I saw what you guys were doing. Right. Like I understood it, because I'll just tell you our game plan for them, because we game planned for you, them, and X Factor. Our game plan for them was exactly the same. We're going to pick on Jesse because Mouse nor Silos were shooting back into the center for more than a flash. So we have an opportunity to shoot that cross. So we're going to pick on Jesse a little bit, make them have to pull Mouse over. Once they pull Mouse over, now we've got an opportunity on the Dorito side because we'll take that gun away and it'll go to the other side. So, and I want to be clear too, taking 0 away from Jesse Stevens, who played the rest of the tournament incredibly well. He played probably better than I've seen Jesse play. I do think he had lots more. There were a lot of opportunities he had to go to the snake that he kind of didn't go. But playing in the role he was playing, I thought Jesse Stevens played really, really well. Yeah, really well. It's exciting to watch.
For sure.
I still think I would have probably rather had Mouse in that can, but but Jesse played it really well. He played it really well.
Love it.
All right. So now we're moving on to X Factor, right? Okay. So what's our game plan with X Factor?
Well, I mean, like I said, going back to even the prelims, we felt like watching our game, it was more of us, or the breakdown on the us not being as present and not going. One, we need to have more of a middle presence. We said that to Cyrus, like, hey, you need to get up there. Like, you know, you need to be that threat in the middle for really Clint. In the first match, it was Clint, and then same thing with Colt, you know, Fuzzy. Like, we're not allowing, like, we need to make them feel uncomfortable that we're right there. So, I mean, that was really going in, focusing, like, hey, we have opportunities. We didn't use the opportunities in prelims. Like, let's, you know, we're the better team. Like, let's show that we're the better team. So, and then killing people off break, you know, obviously always helps. So
that helps. Yeah. Really helpful.
Yeah.
Really helpful when you get to play 5-on-4.
Yeah. Helpful enough for those of you who may not know to a 7-1 mercy rule over X Factor. So the two teams they lose to in the prelims, they come back and play again and dominate.
Yeah, it was funny. There was actually a post. Someone's like, it was Saturday. They're like, well, obviously they're not the best team in Texas or whatever. And then the next morning or the next day, I was like, well, we mercy ruled both of them. So, hey, you should have waited till after the tournament.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Spoke too soon, fella.
Yeah, absolutely.
Spoke too soon. But I think, again, those rivalries are so good.
They're really
right. Like, having that pool, the way it drew out, right?
For sure.
And just so everybody understands the way the preliminary works, all the teams are pulled out of a trophy, right? Each team from each tier goes into the trophy other than the top 4. All the tier 2 teams go into a trophy, they pull them out, and that's where it goes, right? So it's the first one, they go in the first pool. Second one goes in the second pool, so on and so forth, all the way down, right? So there is no, like, there's no shenanigans, right? They just pull them right out of the thing, and that's who we play. So
it reminded me of that. It reminded me of that meme, right? Where he's like, the guy's like, look at me, I am the captain now. You know, it just it was very cool to see that pool play out the way it did. And then honestly, the way it played out on Sunday too, right? For you guys to play each other again, kind of in a Sunday environment, right? Again, things change. From Friday to Saturday to Sunday, the layout changes, the way we're playing it changes, weather conditions, force changes, right? You can't run maybe as far. You're certainly not breaking out as ballistically as you could. I know that kind of hurt us a little bit on Sunday. But nonetheless, so now you guys come in to play us, right? And again, the score does not tell what really happened in that game. Yeah. You guys dominated us. You dominated us. Like, the 2 points that we won were in chaos that we intentionally did create. Yeah. In true Red Legion fashion. You guys were incredibly respectful at the end of the game, not hanging that other point. Yeah. You know, really was
really was a 3-point game, right? But just out of respect for one another, and we appreciate that because we respect you guys too.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, like you guys dominated us. Like we couldn't go anywhere. You know, Trenton did a fantastic job shooting the wide, coming back in. You know, Chavi did a great job.
I remember watching Justin. He was like going back and forth. He was like trying to figure out how to break the game up. Like it was like So, I mean,
it was a tough. I mean, it was tough, right? You guys made it really hard on us. I don't think we shot any of you off the break the whole game. We shot guys out when they got to their spot. I think we won a couple of gunfights, but I don't think we shot anybody off the break the entire match. You guys played really safe, shot us out of interior spots. You guys did, you managed the game really, really well. Really, really well. So kudos, right?
I was going to say they controlled the tempo very well, which is something that the Legion loves to do. Right.
Well, they sucked our ability to create any. Right. They just took it right away with really, again, what we talked about in the pre-show is exactly. And we all kind of said this when we saw the layout after the practice weekend, we were all like, this is a Paintball FIT field, right? This is shooting people off the break and then being really disciplined. And against us, you guys did that to a T, right? To a T. Yeah, we did. Bobby Kramer says, did Red Legion play 4-on-5 every point but one? Well, yeah, we played 4-on-5 every point but one. So, but again, the way Red Legion plays, like we're okay losing a guy off the break because normally we have 2 other guys in motion at that time. Just unfortunately, again, Paintball FIT was so disciplined, and I'll be totally forward, it wasn't the first shots that got us, it was the secondaries. It was the guys staying through gaps just a little bit longer. You know, Chavez across on Sergey, Trenton coming back for Kirill coming up the middle. It was the second shots that got us, not the first. The first ones were okay. We absorbed those.
I knew Sergey liked going. That's one thing that we watched was he liked going forward to the Xbox and then going to the ghetto. And I saw him at practice. Like sometimes he would just kind of disregard. Like, all right, cool, not even check that off. You know.
Yep.
I felt like that was one thing that we had conversations like, hey, we know he wants to get here. Let's not just give up that gun. Like let's put that there so he goes right into that, you know. So.
Yeah. And you guys did a fantastic, very disciplined. Very disciplined. Yeah. Very good job.
Love it.
Let's talk about the finals.
Yeah.
So now you're coming in to play a team that literally nobody really has much data on, right? Mm-hmm. This is their second event. Second event together. And again, it's a total mixed bag where you have a Russian, an American, 2 to 3 Frenchmen, and sometimes Mexican speakers.
Yeah.
So you've got 4 different languages happening on the field, right? I will also say we all hoped that the Tontons would be really good. I didn't think it would happen this early.
Same.
Just being perfectly blunt, didn't think it would happen this early. How about Fedorov? Let's just talk about him for a second. How about Fedorov?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He was playing great.
Like, finally, the dude got rid of the leash, right? It looked like it came on Saturday. Yeah. He started getting really free and comfortable, and he kind of looked like the Fedorov we're used to from 3 years ago.
Yeah.
The last 2 years, we haven't really been able to see it. Mike, what are your thoughts? I see you have some.
Yeah, that's the key. You and I have talked about that a lot. Before he even left the Tauntauns, we were like, why are we not letting this man hunt? Why are we not just letting this man go do what he wants to do, and then the 4 of you do this, right? And it felt like they let Fedorov, they decided, you know what, either they decided it as a team and as a coach, or he said, screw it, I'm going to do what I want to do and impose my will over here, and y'all follow me. And it felt like there was a good connection between him and Marky even.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Like they were playing off each other really, really well. Marky would play off the chaos that Fedorov would create, and he just went out there and kind of imposed his will, and it was impressive to watch.
Yeah,
and it's one of those things we've been waiting for.
Yeah.
It's funny, that morning I told Marky, I said, look, this is a winning side because they were always on the away pit on Sunday. So I joked with Marky, I was like, this is a winning, we're going to be on finals. So So it worked out.
I love it. But yeah, Tauntauns, they what's also interesting, what a lot of people may or may not know, is that both Paintball FIT and the Tauntauns were the two wild card teams that came into the Sunday. They both were 2-2, inched into the Sunday bracket and ended up knocking everybody out. They got that second life and made it work. Did not squander it.
Yeah, and if you're a paintball fan and you've been around a while, you want to see guys like Colombo do well.
Yeah.
I mean, I do, right? They've never won a tournament, a professional tournament in the United States. Colombo is, I mean, literally his nickname and moniker in Europe is Grandpa.
Yep.
Because he's been around so long, he's kind of the grandpa of the paintball scene over there, right? Like he is, the dude has won multiple world championships in Europe, but never in America. So it was, no offense to you or the Paintball FIT guys, I was kind of rooting for the Tauntauns just because I wanted the story, right? I wanted the story. I wanted, I think a lot of Coach Pascal, and I really wanted to see Colombo get one in America. So
I had a little different take, Casey. I thought it was going to be Dynasty and PB FIT in the finals again, but I wasn't necessarily rooting for the Tauntauns. But then when they beat us, I was like, well, it's anybody's match,
Well, it's funny. That's
to Ryan's point, both the story is fantastic on both sides.
Totally.
We can't hear you.
I said when I was talking to the ESPN guy, I was telling either one of these stories would be cool. Tauntauns making it or Dynasty and us. So
right. Yeah. Very cool. Yeah. So just so everybody knows, the show was filmed. They did do the film. Whether or not it's going to just be on ESPN is still kind of a question mark. I hear rumors that there will be a 4-part series that is going to come out. Probably not on ESPN, but it will be on another major streaming network. So we'll see. We'll kind of keep you guys updated as we get more information on that. But yeah, a lot of cool things coming. Yeah, Matt Hodges, we agree. Casey is an awesome guy and a great coach.
Agreed.
Yeah, so Joey Konopinski says, poor Axel on the buzzer trip. We're about to watch that.
We're about to watch it, yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to watch the last point. But again, just so you guys know, last point's 5 minutes long. Overtime's 5 minutes long. And then there's a really long break in there that we're going to zip right through and go straight to the one-on-one. And then the one-on-one is like super duper fast. Right? So, all right, so 2-2. And again, at this point, you guys have played 15 minutes of paintball, and there's been 4 points scored, right? So going into this last point, what are we telling the guys? Like, hey, it's 2-2. We should have got off the break. We're going. What's the conversation?
Yeah, I mean, we made a statement like, hey, we get the kills. Like, let's close out this point and win it, which, I mean, I felt like we had the opportunity to actually win it, and I don't know, we just didn't close correctly. So,
yeah, I would agree. The close got messy. You're going to see it. Marky Franz with that pull up, check his shot every time. Yep. Every time. He shot a lot of guys.
He did.
He shot a lot of guys. Played better than I've seen him play in a really long time. And I think in the point right before this, Marky was kind of the catalyst for them winning the point with his little run through in the middle.
Yeah. So smart of him there to recognize the fact that you guys were just pumping that gap on the outside of the first snake knuckle, right? Because he went in and he didn't even check. He knew that paint was going to be there. So he immediately looked inside.
Man, it speaks so much about Jacob that you guys have so much faith in him. Says a lot about him.
Yes. Archie Barnes. We'll come back to that because we've actually discussed that.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a second.
We are.
We'll talk about
So
that
we have 3 questions starred, just so you know.
Oh, we do?
Yeah.
I thought this was a good release too. Jacob getting up there. I thought that was smart. Yeah, I do want to get to those two. The second one, I don't think. Yeah, we'll see.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and take that one off.
No. You can leave it.
It's too late.
We'll ask it anyway.
All right. Now, do you feel the Tauntauns at this point? Because I have to go back. You notice how you're in the snake now, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've controlled their 1 in the first knuckle. Their can is shooting the cross right there. It looks like right now, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Look, if you look at this setup, I really don't think they have a clue he's there.
No, I don't. He didn't until I think Scott missed a shot.
Okay.
On the snake one, and then that's when.
And he gets really crafty trying to get it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He gets really crafty, but I mean, he just barely misses him here in just a moment.
Yeah.
I feel the same, Bobby. That's why I was saying I felt like they didn't see him get in there, and right there he misses the shot.
Yeah.
Now he knows, right?
And then we're over here like, get back in your bunker is what we're thinking.
But yeah, I think this is a fast game if he lands that shot. I think at about 3 minutes in, it's over at that point. Or 2 minutes in, it's over at that point. Now this was complete shift over there to force multiply this gun.
And I thought that was really smart of Cyrus.
It was not just smart, but I mean, boy needs a wheelbarrow with those things.
Yeah.
Yeah, tactically very intelligent though,
Yes.
right? Like Trent's the outside gun, but not all the way on the edge. He can take a job from Trenton.
No, and what's beautiful about it is from a tactical, even from a strategic perspective, no one sees that spread. No one's in position to see that. When you think about it, there's no one in a position to see that spread.
Yeah.
So now Tauntauns think, okay, we've got this body here in this tower, right? And then all of a sudden now you've got that force multiplier over there that just went through the gap.
Right.
And now you're caught flat-footed. You're like, holy hell. I'm sorry. Holy heck.
So this is where I thought Jacob or Trenton should have released.
Yes. 100%.
Right here. Yeah. Yep. I mean, you can go right up to that pin, trade, right?
Yeah, I mean, the ball was definitely in their court.
I mean, Tauntauns at this point, you guys own. Look at this. You're straight across the line.
Yeah.
And they're holding on for dear life. And I thought, okay, here it comes. And I'm sitting there going, okay, I think I know what they're doing. They're waiting until 30, and he's going to launch, right? Or maybe 20, and he's going to launch. But it never came to fruition.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I thought actually Trenton was going to release up and then, like, you know. And we had that conversation afterwards, but, you know.
Yeah, and Hugo's shift was really smart.
It was so smart.
Yeah, Trenton does that 20 seconds ago. This whole
Yes.
game is different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100.
And then shooting him out of the snake right there was monumental.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah, I
that
guess
ball
that was-
doesn't land. I think it's over.
Yeah, I guess that was Jacob. Yeah, Jacob goes 20 seconds earlier. Everything is different. But then we wouldn't have this cool story.
Right.
That's correct. We really did it for the story.
Is that what?
Sure.
Yeah, that was all
Make it a little bit
intentional,
more
right?
interesting, you know.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure. Makes
they
perfect
did.
sense.
They walked up to us at ESPN and was like, "Hey, we really need a good story." I was like, "All right, we got you."
Yeah, Chris says Cyrus would know paint, so he has to make that. Not necessarily, man. Occupying that space, they don't know how much paint he has. Him
Right.
being an edge gun, just occupying the space and keeping Marky's gun outside is
Right.
enough, right? The
Agreed.
two middle guys needed to create the tempo earlier.
So strange. The Tauntauns did not go the snake on the break.
Yeah, I thought that was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. We actually thought they were going the snake off, right?
Right. You can see the paint. You're shooting for it.
Yeah. I'm gonna grab a charger real quick.
Do it.
Just shooting bounce shots.
Shooting bounce. That's a
Shooting
bounce shot.
Yeah.
You know it.
Shooting bounce shots.
He's already released up into that center brick.
Yeah.
And something I appreciated about him is he's doing those quick head checks. He's not hanging out over there, right? Quick head checks, shooting bounce shots everywhere.
So he didn't have air.
What?
Yeah, he somehow he didn't get air in his gun going into overtime. So he had limited air from the point before. So
I'm gonna keep that to myself.
Yeah. That's kind of, yeah. Okay. But again, you guys are making these slight bumps, and it almost seems like the Tauntauns are content to, until now, right? Content to have you move into guns.
yeah.
That double presence in the center. It's an interesting approach.
I like it.
I know, by putting that wedge on the cross, right? You know he's not feeding. He dumps his gun. You're not feeding the snake now. The center can play free, and the home can release. Now their home can release and be force multipliers, whichever side they see fit. No pun intended. So 3 minutes in, and it's still 5-on-5, correct?
Oh no,
No.
no.
No, they
2, 3,
they lost
4,
ground.
5 on 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
They lost one really early.
Okay. Had a ref going in and checking.
It's really interesting that I felt like Tauntauns, especially for the first 3.5 minutes, they were just playing not to lose.
It felt that way, didn't it? Especially when
Yeah.
they didn't go snake.
Well, I mean, but even Fedorov was playing that Dorito cross to keep us out of snake for a long time.
Right.
Yeah, before he pulled back to when he lost the body, he went defensive though and went to the Dorito corner.
Yeah.
Now here's where the bad close comes.
Yeah.
So now it's a 5-on-3, correct?
Correct.
43 seconds. Uh-oh. Yep. And there's that Dorito kill. I mean, he commits to that dive instead of creeping through on a gun. Maybe he makes that now.
Yeah.
Right here is the one move I was talking about. Markey does a great job here.
Yes. And right here. Right about there.
If he just dove.
He doesn't slip.
If he just dove instead of trying to stop.
Yep.
Oh.
And here's what happens is now you have your very first European team win in America.
Yep.
And how much do you think that weighed into him being the choice to go out there?
Well, we knew it wasn't going to be Fedorov because whenever they were reviewing the camera, he was right there, like talking to the coach and talking to everybody. So laughing and joking, I was like, well, he's definitely not going to play. So we knew it had to be Axel. So
let's hear it in the chat. If you guys are the Tonons, who are you putting out?
Right. See, I think John, I think you're putting additional pressure on the man, right? He just missed it, right?
Yeah,
Now,
John, I agree. I thought Colombo or Markey.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
I thought Colombo or Markey would be the guy. But you know, all right, let's switch gears. So the bar plays on Red Legion. Wrong team.
I was thinking I too was thinking I was thinking Markey, but if I had to take a second, it would have been Colombo.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So Casey, talk us through the decision for Scott.
Well, we've already been our semi-pro year. We had to play distortion and an overtime point, and Scott was our guy then. So I mean, he won it. It was really no doubt he was going to start it, and then from there we was going to probably do Trenton, go through the order. But I mean, Scott was going to be our guy. So he ended it. So. Yeah.
Well, do you run one-on-ones and then
we don't really, no.
Yeah.
I mean, they play a lot of paintball, and I'm not there for all the practices. But no, we don't do typically a lot of one-on-ones. I mean, at practice,
I've been to their practices. They don't play no damn one-on-ones.
Yeah, definitely not. So,
not even on off layout weekends.
No.
Well, what am I saying? Off layout weekends? It's you guys are never off. So
no, they're not. Yeah. They're not.
Those dudes just play so many points. It's stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So many things. 600.
he looked very. When Scott's name was pulled, he looked cool, calm, collected, like he had already won.
Oh yeah,
it really did feel that way. It felt like when he was standing there, he's like, just tell me when I'm supposed to go out there.
Yeah, he's just holding his gun like very casually. And I do love that Colt was like, stay away, don't talk to him. Stay away.
Yeah.
Leave him alone. Right? Like kept everybody kind of quiet in the pit. Like, hey, leave him alone. You were over. I think you and Johnny had stepped over to talk about the review thing, and Colt's in the pit like, hey, be quiet. Leave him alone. Right? Like, he's fine. He's good. Just keep it quiet. Keep it calm in here. And it was just like, you know, very peaceful in your pit, you know, and he's just standing there literally looking like a Spartan who's about to go out and, you know, kill a tiger. That's like he's ready. So,
come back with your shield or on it. And he came back with his shield. So the thing I want to ask is, because it seemed like for me, it looks like he shoots a bounce shot on because the way the ball strikes him, it looks like he shoots a bounce shot, but I think I've heard that no, he shot him straight up.
No.
Yeah, you can see before, like when he comes, the very first ball in that last exchange leaves his gun and hits Axel right in the loader. Yeah. The very first ball. Whack, and then the next two hit that bunker.
Yeah.
But the very first ball connected. I think Verb put out a thing in slow-mo where you can see the ball.
He very well may have because,
And Axel.
But I know he shot the bounce at least once.
Yeah, I mean Axel told Scott that it was a direct on hit. So
okay, but he
Yeah,
did
you
shoot
see
the
it.
bounce though. Yeah, because I saw the Dorito lighten up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and
Okay, there you go, Joey. I believe that. I like that. He hit him then. Okay, yeah. So he smoked him and then shot the bounce after it, just in case. Okay.
Here's the other side to this that I wanted to mention. Do you think maybe they were like, Axel had an opportunity to win the game, wasn't able to do it. Let's give him an opportunity to go out there and get it.
That very well might be the thought process.
I mean, a lot of times as a coach, you're like, hey, do you want this? Right? I mean,
Yeah, you can see it in their face.
Yeah, I mean, so
Axel might have asked for it. He might have come in and said, "Give it to me." Right?
Yeah. So
I love that Scott was the aggressor right away. He's like, I'm going. I'm coming. Right there.
Yep. Back it up. Let's watch it again. So he comes into the wrap and then just yep. What an incredible feel. I mean, Casey, what goes through your mind at that moment?
oh man, we were all like there's a picture, they're all huddled up, like just side by side, watching it. I mean, heck, we all ran on the field.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw y'all come out there without masks on even. And if I'm a ref, I'm letting that go too.
The ref took his gun, so
yeah.
Yeah, he put it down right then.
Yeah.
What a great moment.
Incredible. It's a great job. Great job. Incredible. So we have a few questions that maybe we want anything? Oh, we just lost. Where's Ryan? There he is.
I'm back.
Okay. So here's a couple of things. There's a couple of questions that we've gotten throughout the show that I wanted to return back to. Now, I think we already answered Archie Barnes Jr., where he asked, ABJ's in the house.
Before we jump into the question, I just want to say congratulations to you, the group, Scott, love the passion, love what you guys are doing, love the story, love the men. It's just, as a fan of the game, it's just incredibly cool. You love the parents. I mean, I've known them for damn near 30 years. Just love what you guys are doing down there. And the championship mentality and mindset that you guys have, and the culture that you guys have created, not only inside of your team, but also at Paintball FIT, the facility, it's incredibly cool. So cool. So congratulations to you. And you guys have done something, Nima from X-Ball Podcast put it out. You guys were like number 6 on the list already of teams, number of wins in the NXL era. And I think now you're tied for 5th.
Yep.
With Tampa Bay Damage.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay Damage, right? And you guys have been doing this for a year and 2 events. So, this is, I put it in kind of the intro to the description of the show, but this is how dynasties are created. You guys are doing something that really hasn't been done since Dynasty did it when they went pro, back in 2001, 2002. So very, very cool. Great story. Super excited too for Scott. I really appreciate the shit out of him and love his positivity and his attitude. And really cool. All right, Mike, let's get to the questions.
No, that was perfect. And I listen, everything you just said, I concur. Everything is fantastic. And I'm really happy for you, Casey. I'm really I'm just so impressed with this team. So we'll see. But I'm gonna get you a little dog too. So
I thought we were playing each other again too. Hey.
Oh, dude, I'm serious. It was, and I won't go into the, woulda, coulda, shoulda, right? We should have played 2 points better, but there was some tomfoolery on that last point with us and the Tontons, but we won't go into that.
We're obviously excited to have another opportunity to play you as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So from Mr. G, Casey, what team do you feel is your greatest matchup style-wise?
Good question.
I mean, I like Diesel. I mean, I think that's always a good match. I mean, there's a lot of history with that. And they mix it up. So I think Diesel.
Okay.
So,
Diesel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. No, and that makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
I can see that. So what I also want to do is we have someone in the chat who would like some advice, and I want to give Casey first crack at it, Ryan.
Sure.
So Casey from Bush Wookie Northwest, or NW, we need advice. Our boys have voiced that they're burnt out on running points. Do the guys ever do open play?
Well, I mean, yeah, they like with other players. I mean, they do night ball. I mean, like we only have really a team of 7-8 players. So I mean, as far as like mixing in, when we do, we always mix in with Shut Up, We're Trying and DC Boys. They're always in our group as far as I mean, we do different things. I mean, we do hopper ball. I mean, we do a lot of hopper ball as far as like weekdays and stuff like that. It's not just running, but I mean, when you're running points, like what is your intention on the point? Not just playing to win. I mean, who cares if you win at practice, right? So like really, I mean, our team's very critical. They're very hard on each other. So I mean, we really like dissect each other. Like, hey, why are you doing this? Like, we know you can play better than what you're doing. So what's going on? Like, something may be going on personal life, Well, like you said, they do play a lot of paintball. So I mean, but I mean, I think breaking down and really finding out if you're getting burnt out, like what try something different, hopper ball or this and that, I mean, but.
Mix it up.
I'll answer for Casey. The answer is yes. Those guys literally mix in with whoever's out there all the time.
All the time.
I mean, the only time they really play their guys on whomever is when they're like have a closed practice and are preparing for an event. Otherwise, if you go down to play at Paintball FIT and you play any kind of like 7-man or whatever event they're doing down there, you're going to get one of the Paintball FIT guys on your team. Like they mix in all the time and play fun paintball. So they're not like when we talk about Paintball FIT playing a lot of good points, it's not a lot of like grindy. They just play a ton of paintball of all different kinds. They're just playing paintball all the time. It's not just about the tournament style paintball. They just play a lot of paintball.
And different styles, right? I mean, they have the 7-man mech. They have I mean, it's a lot of different paintball, 100%, That's
right. Well, listen, before we get off the topic, I do want to make sure that this gets out there.
When they're playing the 7-man mech, they're playing against each other, like each one of the fit guys on a different team. So it's a bragging right of like, okay, I want my team to win, right? So
I love it. That's a great point, right? I mean, that's something else. You've got to make practice fun, right? If it's just redundant, repetitive, and all we're doing is playing points, what are you really learning from all that? If you have bad habits and you just continue to play points, all you're doing is reinforcing all the bad habits. Right. And so you've just become this really good team at bad habits. You've practiced a bunch of bad habits over and over and over again. So yeah, you want to mix it up, break things down, watch tape, watch film, You know, do a couple of different things. Play mech. Have a goal. Set a goal for the day. Hey, today we're just going to work on our snake side shots. We're going to go out here and do this. Run drills. There's so much to do. And Todd Morrow, I couldn't agree more.
Todd's one of my favorite. Todd, I would just literally before this show started in the green room, I was showing Mike. I've just moved and I have like 3 boxes of jerseys, and I have an invert X Factor jersey that I pulled out from the 2007 season when we won. So
I love it. I love it. We got great.
Love you, buddy. Hope you're doing well.
I like it. Practice makes perfect. No, perfect practice makes perfect. I have a little bit different saying, but anyway.
Mr. G, I kind of agree with you, but also kind of not, because the levels at each decade, at each sort of iteration of the game have caught up. So when we had 12 pro teams, the bottom 3 weren't very good, but then they got really good. Yeah. And Dynasty was putting on runs. Red Legion, which was Russian Legion at the time, was having runs. Damage was having runs. Again, this is pre-NXL days. And then when they expanded to 20, it took until now really for those bottom teams to get better. However, this season, those bottom 4 teams, as we talked about quite a bit, they're pretty defined. They're just not very good. They'll get better, but we've kind of regressed a little bit, right? When we lost Blast Camp, we lost some teams that were pretty competitive from last season, right? The only one that really wasn't real competitive was NYX, right? And that's why they got relegated. But kind of in the iteration we are right now, there's really 12 really good teams, pretty good teams, and then the others are trying to kind of get it together. So, which I expect some of them will. I think Infamous will turn it around pretty quickly, we hope. But so kind of you're right, maybe, but I don't necessarily agree.
No. Excellent.
Yeah.
I couldn't help myself. I had to get in there and do that. So I don't believe that practice makes perfect, or perfect practice makes perfect. I don't think perfection is attainable. You should chase it 100%, but I believe that practice makes progress. That's just always been my thing. So I'll
totally. Yeah, totally. I agree. Like if you're perfect, that means you're literally turning around and you're shooting 5 guys off the break.
Right.
5 paintballs, right?
Every paintball you shoot that doesn't make contact with somebody is a miss.
It's a miss.
It's not perfect.
Nope.
So there is no perfect. There's as perfect. I say this all the time, Mike. You probably heard me say it a million times. It's as perfect as your group can be, as perfect as your group is capable of. That doesn't mean if you're a Division II team that the expectation should be that you're going to play like Dynasty, Paintball FIT, Red Legion. You need to be as perfect as your group can be at the place you're in, right? Don't try to play don't have expectation in the moment. I want to be clear about that. Don't have expectation in the moment that you're going to be better than you really are. Yeah. Prepare correctly. Like if you're a D2 team, practice like a semi-pro team. If you're a semi-pro team, practice and prepare like a pro team, and then you'll probably end up getting there. We had one of the clinics that Mike and I did recently. We had a D4 team who was talking about jumping D4 and going to D3. Mm-hmm. And we told them, why are you doing that? And they said, well, we just want to test our chops. And I was like, okay, that seems really expensive way to test your chops, but you can do it. But wouldn't it be better to play D4, practice and prepare like a D3 team, win all the D4 events, and then be forced to go play D3?
Well, I mean, it's preparation too, right? I mean, if you want to play D3, then go practice a D3, D2 team. And I mean, look at us. I mean, if you look at our history, I mean, we dominated D3, D4, it wasn't so, yeah.
No, and that's absolutely right. If you want to understand where you stand, well, go practice a D3 team, right? A good D3 team.
A good right.
Yeah. Otherwise, win your division, please. Yeah. Because if you're not winning your division, what makes you think what are you going to learn by going to an event and playing up and not doing what have you learned?
Well, it costs a lot of money to lose.
Yeah. That was an expensive
That's
practice.
exactly what I told the guy. I was like, that sounds very expensive for a test, but like, if you want to do it, you can. But it makes more sense to practice and prepare like the division you want to be in, right? If you want to be in the next division, practice and prepare like you're in that division, but play the division that you're supposed to be in, win it, and then you'll be forced to move up. And then you deserve to be there. You belong. You don't have to have a test. That's where you should be, right?
Absolutely.
So, yeah, you guys have done that along the way, right? Other than kind of skipping D2 and going into pro for a year and then coming back into semi-pro, you guys have sort of done that in every division you've been in. You've gone in and played the division you're supposed to play, and other than, again, the D2 skip because of the
COVID.
AC Dallas thing. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah. So.
But I think that also creates a winning mentality. It creates habits that lead to winning. You know, in our introduction, Mike talks about that, right? Mm-hmm. So when you create habits, your culture changes, right? Good, positive habits and consistent discipline create the pathway to winning, right? And then once you win a few, it becomes contagious. And then it also, and you guys are experiencing this right now. Once you start winning, it's easier.
Yeah.
It's easier, right? Yeah. It's easier because it's like, oh yeah, we're number one, this is where we're supposed to be. Right. This is where we're supposed to be. And then number two, it's like, we've also been here before and we understand and know what the outcome is. We're good. Right. We're okay. We can just move on.
We've been here, done that. Like, yeah.
100%. A lot. You guys have done it a lot.
Yeah. 3 times in a row now.
Other than that one pesky other Texas team a couple of years ago that beat you guys at World Cup and just ripped your pro opportunity right from under.
Yeah. Yep.
I remember that too.
Hey, it's all right though. Yeah. The next you made it historic, right? So.
You did. Yeah. I mean, you took a negative and turned it into a pretty amazing positive. Like pretty amazing also with another really good team there in Blast Camp, right? Yeah. It's like, it's not like the semi-pro division was totally diluted like it was, again, in my opinion, last year. Oh my gosh, we got to talk about. Did we talk about semi-pro?
We didn't. I was going to say
semi-pro. We got to talk.
I
about
thought we should talk about semi-pro and maybe get Casey's thoughts on the new standings in the league. So
yes. So really quick, I'll run through the pro standings and changes, and then we'll talk about semi-pro because there's a couple cool stories down there that we want to make sure we touch on.
Yeah.
One, obviously, Paintball FIT maintains their number one spot.
Yep.
And by, a damn truckload now with 2 first-place finishes. They're kind of doing what Red Legion did last year. You guys are pretty far ahead. Other changes that occurred, Impact drops a spot. Red Legion moves up a spot. Dynasty stays the same. Tampa Bay Damage moves up 1 spot. X Factor moves up 4 spots. Ton Ton FSU, I mentioned this, moves up 9 spots. They are now number 7. Seattle Uprising drops 1 spot to 7. AC Diesel drops 1 spot to 9. Houston Heat drops 5 spots to number 10. So Houston Heat goes from 5 to 10. Baltimore Arsenal goes from 14th to 11th, which again, unfortunately, they played so poorly at the first event. They really should be an 8-9 team right now.
Right.
They should be. They just really played poorly at the first event. Hurricanes drop 3 spots into the number 12. Los Angeles Ironmen drop a spot into 13. Chicago Aftershock drop 3 spots into the number 14 position. Infamous drops 2 spots into the number 15 position. And then from here, everything pretty much stays the same. Royal City Sea Dogs drop a spot. ASG Aftermath stays exactly the same in 17th. NRG Elite stays the same at 18. New York Extreme stays the same at 19. Leverage stays the same at 20. Unfortunately, Leverage is really going to need to do something. Otherwise, they're going to be in a bad spot.
Yeah.
They're already in a bad spot.
Yeah.
It's not like last year where you're going to have a different, last place team at every event.
Right.
Yep.
Not the same league.
They're in our bracket.
All right.
Didn't play. Yeah, Rich, sorry, buddy. I don't understand that Canes reference.
Canes could have make it Sunday if they didn't play so many points in Sunday's match.
Yeah, I don't understand.
I think he meant Saturday's match.
Okay.
Would edge out. Could be.
Yeah, possibly, but they didn't.
Nope.
Unfortunately, they didn't.
So.
Got Buzzer happy. Agreed, Rich. Rich says impact damage, I feel underperformed, except I'll touch on the damage thing really quick. Damage Dynasty also had a very controversial game. I watched the whole thing. I'm not going to share my opinion because the coach is right here and I don't want to be disrespectful to him. I really felt like Damage played really well. They unfortunately sometimes when games get deep and you put yourself in a position for refs who are human beings to make a decision, sometimes they make the wrong one. That's the bottom line. Sometimes they make a mistake and sometimes it's for you, sometimes it's against you. Unfortunately, I think this time it was probably wrong, but it's okay. It happens, right? I think Damage realizes we should have played better the couple points before and not put ourselves in that situation because they're pros and they've been there a long time. I thought Damage played well. I thought they played well at this event. Definitely looked better than the first event. Impact didn't look very good. Yeah, they didn't look very good. I mean, because I will just tell you guys, Red Legion looked bad. We looked bad, and against Impact, we looked amazing. And we looked bad all weekend. I think we played pretty well against Seattle Uprising, and that's kind of it. I think we played good against Uprising. Every other match we played, I thought we looked pretty bad. So I'm glad we were able to, skirt away with the third place finish, but we didn't play well. We did not look like us. So hopefully that we can fix that. So,
do we want to comment on the semi-pro division with the big surprises there?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
First, let's talk about what's not a surprise.
Okay.
Bear Ridge Factory team, second place again. Which again, these guys are going to win an event. It's going to happen. They're going to win a tournament, maybe 2 tournaments. Right? They're pretty amazing. Hang on just a second. Ryan, Todd Morrow says, Ryan, you coached me back in 2007. Do you think it's harder now or back then? Definitely harder now, Todd.
Yes.
Definitely harder now. Teams are much better. They're much better. So Bear Ridge Factory team gonna win an event. It's gonna happen. In first place in the series, not by a lot, right? But they're playing really well. Look really good. Wildside Distortion with a third place and a fifth place finish. Second place again. We kind of talked about them at the beginning of the season. Not really shocked by them being in second place. You got some former pros on that team. It's a solid group. Funded pretty well. All right. The next one is LA Collision. Is that a shock?
No.
Not a shock, right? But sixth place at the first event definitely looked better. I got to watch him play a match. Looked pretty salty, right? Looked pretty salty. New York Wrecking Crew in fourth place. Is that a shock?
I think that's a shock to some people. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it is. I think they should be in the top 2. They should be competing for the top 2, right?
Agreed.
Definitely. Yeah.
So
agreed. TPP Crew does not make Sunday.
Yeah.
Wins the first event, turns around, does not make Sunday. That's a shock. All right. The biggest one.
Yeah.
The biggest one. Our event winners, Preferred Mob, go from 22nd place to 11th place. But because they were 22nd, they only accrued 31 points for the first event. So they move in to the 11th place spot. Next week, we're going to have Coach Noel Tran back on. He's going to talk to us about exactly what happened, what created this massive change from event 1 to event 2. It's pretty critical what he's going to talk about. He and I've had a conversation about it already. But big win for PMOB, right? They keep coming at us with, why don't you talk about us? Why don't you talk about us? Well, we're going to talk about you because you won the event, but now what we expect is you to be more consistent. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. But here's the other thing. I have to make a comment about the fact that they went from 22nd to first. But at this event, I'm pretty sure they mercied everybody everyone. I didn't they get mercy wins at every match? So
They mercied every single team they played.
yeah. So I'm like,
Mercied every single team they played.
yeah.
You know the last time that was done? Who did it?
Pretty sure it's the guy on the screen right here with PB Fit.
Paintball FIT. He's
Yeah.
the last team to do that.
Yeah.
Every single team they played. New York Brave makes the cut. Those guys I know have been working really hard. They're also looking for a coach. If anybody wants to coach New York Brave, they're really looking for somebody. So
Yeah.
the semi-pro division is getting pretty exciting, right?
Yeah.
It's getting pretty exciting. Here's the other question I'm going to ask. Do we think it's watered down? Casey, do you think it's watered down?
No. Watered down? No.
Yeah. So you think the semi-pro division is as good as when you won it?
Oh, definitely. Well, definitely not. I mean,
Okay.
it was just-
All right.
but I mean,
Uh,
I think there's more, I guess, competition with the top 5. I mean, because it's not just one or two teams. I mean, because let's just say Blast Camp stayed last year. And
Mhm.
Doug, like, I think they won the spot hands down. There's no other team that compares to them.
let's talk about the top 5 because I'm glad you brought that up. And here's
Yeah,
why
me
I
too.
say it's a little watered down. BR Factory team is a Division 2 team. This is their first year in the league. Okay.
Yeah.
Wildside Distortion is a few of the Blast Camp guys who've dropped down to mix with some of the old Distortion guys.
Right.
They've been around a little while, right?
yeah.
They're grindy, they're gritty. LA Collision is a brand new team just put together this year.
Coached
New
by
York
Mike
Wrecking
Hinman.
Crew is coached by Mike Hinman, architect by Mike Hinman.
Right.
Yeah.
New York Wrecking Crew is a second-year semi-pro team. The New Jersey Jesters have been in semi-pro for 29,000 years.
Right. Yeah.
That's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the top 4 teams in the division are all pretty new teams.
Yeah.
And they're the top 4 teams in the division.
Yeah.
Is it watered down?
Yeah. I guess so.
I don't know. That's what I like. So I said this last year that I think the semi-pro division's watered down. Leverage comes in. We're seeing they won the series,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They won the series. Think about the last several teams that have come out. Hurricanes, Notorious, who didn't necessarily play well in the pros, but weren't relegated.
Right.
You guys, right?
Mhm.
And then you get Leverage.
Yeah.
Okay. You get
Yeah.
Leverage. So I don't know. I'm just saying.
Whether it's watered down or not, I think this season is going to see some interesting stories emerge. I think you're going to start just seeing. I think you're going to see some consistency out of maybe 2-3 teams, and then everybody else is going to be beating the living crap out of each other.
So that's, I think, the key, right? If there can be some wars, right? If you think about the years of the teams that have come out, they've had to go to war
Right.
with 1 or 2 teams at every event.
Yeah.
Because of the
That was
lack of
certainly the case.
consistency,
That was
Right.
certainly, yeah.
because of the lack of consistency, we're not really seeing that, right? Where you have these matchups, these really awesome matchups like a Paintball FIT and a Blast Camp. Matching up like a New Orleans Hurricanes and a New England Hurricanes matching up, right? And clashing. We're not really seeing that because the teams, obviously Bear Ridge, hella consistent with a second place and a second place in their first year in the division. Those guys, obviously right now, they're the best team in semi-pro because they're the most consistent at 2 second places. But just from purely a consistency perspective, right? They haven't won an event.
Right.
They haven't won an event. So, again, I just think that the semi-pro thing right now is kind of a hot topic. I do think I watched LA Collision. I think they got a real chance. They're just going to keep getting better and better and better.
Agreed.
I think they got an opportunity. I'm a little disappointed in New York Wrecking Crew. I'm a little disappointed in them. I
think they're
more of
disappointed
them,
in themselves significantly.
as they should be. As they should be. I don't know if they've changed their preparation or what's going on over there, but they need to do better. So need to do better.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah,
Wow.
Aftermath, Mutiny, Rivalry, and Semi-Pro was
Such a good-
amazing, Brandon.
It was such a good
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Amazing, right? And that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Like when you think about the teams that have come out of Semi-Pro who have been able to be competitive in pro, went to wars in Semi-Pro, right? They really had, and I think Bear Ridge is gonna be, if they win the spot, I think they can be a successful pro team.
I do too.
I just want them to be in positions where they're going to be pushed around enough that when they get there, the pace, the volume, the things that occur on the pro field aren't shocking, right? Because I think like for a Paintball FIT and some of these other team Hurricanes, when they came in, it didn't shock them, right? They were like, we've been to war. This is just a different kind of war, right? We just got to be a little faster. So,
100%. That's a great way of putting it. So,
yeah.
All right, man. Wow. This is our first 2-hour show since I think the Marcelo show. So good stuff tonight. Good stuff.
Yeah,
tonight.
man. I knew it was going to be a long one.
Yeah.
We had a lot to talk about. And
There is.
again, you know, we just keep having to have these stupid Paintball FIT shows.
I'm going to get a better mic next time.
Oh, okay. That'll make it a little bit more.
That would be awesome. So here's one right here. It's called a Shure. Shure microphone.
Yeah, these things are really good.
It's a couple $100, right? Works really well, right? Plug it right in. It won't work in an iPad. You will have to, you know, get a computer.
I got you. I got a computer. It's just don't use it much.
All right. Understood.
I run a restaurant. You know, I mean, I don't have to be on the computer often.
Yes, Scott Stewart. We take questions live.
No,
you got one really quick because I got to go to the restroom and I got to go to bed. If you got a question, shoot.
Oh, that's a good question. That's a great question. I'm glad we waited for it. Casey,
me too.
Who's the biggest pain in the butt to coach?
Who's the biggest pain in the butt to coach? Well, probably Colt, but you know he's not right now.
He's really easy to coach right now.
He's really well. Yeah, it would have to be Colt.
Colt. Yeah, I would have bet that.
Yeah.
Who's second?
Yeah, there you go. Who's second?
I don't know. Everybody else is pretty. Colt just has the biggest and most opinion, and very passionate, but it always is good. So.
Yeah.
Interesting. I like it. All right. Well played.
Ballsack, Bear Ridge Factory team. So Ballsack asked, and gross name, by the way, unless you are literally the one making the Ballsack paintball loader thing. And if you're that guy, then okay, it's acceptable. Otherwise, kind of gross. Ballsack has BR found a full-time coach yet? The answer is yes. They have found a full-time coach. And we will probably have him on in then maybe the next 3 to 4 weeks. So,
I like it.
Yes, they have found a full-time coach.
And that full-time coach will get grilled significantly, peppered with questions.
He says, I am that guy. All right, then your name's good. Your name's good.
I love it.
Great invention, by the way. If you guys have not seen the ball sack, it's really cool. Put your paintballs in it. It's got a loading system at the bottom. It's really neat. Keeps everything nice and tight. It's a good deal. You know, like a ball sack.
Yep.
Okay, before this goes completely off the rails.
Let's go.
What do you say, boys?
Wrap up.
Yeah. So
Let's wrap up.
Casey, thank you so much for coming. Again, congratulations to your team and constant success that you guys are having. It's pretty impressive.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. Again, don't sleep on the upcoming clinic. I'll have all the information out on Thursday. If you guys have any questions about that, you can reach out to me directly. You're going to ask Casey at the end of the show. Oh, yeah. Hey, I forgot to ask. I'm so sorry. Yeah. If you were about to go take a nap, I apologize. So we do this thing every year in August where we take a group of people. We take a group of girls, we take a couple young teams, and we take a couple men's teams over to Paris, and we compete.
Mm-hmm.
Would you be interested in going?
I would be interested. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll talk about it offline.
Okay.
Because I think we'd love to have you.
All right. Awesome.
Well played, by the way.
I was like, I don't even know what we're doing, but yeah.
No,
I
that's
Well, we'd like
well
you to
played.
come and help with Team USA.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
We need a guy who loves data. And you're that guy.
I am the guy.
so do the other coaches that will be there. So
That's absolutely
Awesome.
right.
all
Awesome.
right, my friend. We'll talk soon.
Okay. Thanks.
So jealous. Just rub it in, Ryan. Just rub it in.
Ooh, that would be awesome, Shane. Salmon says, I heard from a birdie that Team Canada might make you guys should.
No, you didn't hear from a birdie. I heard from 3 birdies this weekend that, yeah, it's probably going to happen.
Yeah, you guys got to do it.
They got to do it. And
It's so dumb that you guys don't.
Yeah.
Like, you're literally an entire team of Canadians. Come. Silly. All right. Again, don't sleep on the clinic. I'll have all the information out Thursday. If you have any questions at all, you can reach out to me at ryan@thecoachesshow.live. This episode is brought to you by Max Sportswear. If you're playing the NXL or Regional League, contact Charles today for contingency details. If you want to elevate your game, join BKI. New platform and content is on the way. Use code COACHSHOW to let them know you heard it here first. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you to Major League Paintball Plus for allowing us to use the video for the breakdown. Thank you to Major League Paintball, Darren Cessna, Kevin Fillers, Alex Sorensen, and Tom Cole. Next week, Coach Noel Tran, a preferred mob, coming in, talking to us about this giant, massive turnaround that his group has seen from Event 1 to Event 2. I'm Ryan Gray with Mike Bianca. As always, be responsible. See you guys soon.